Better call Professor Thomas. Professor Thomas, can you get down here? The train's derailed.
Almost got it. Ah, there. Cool. Whoa. It looks like some kind of crazy fossil. I think it's a trilobite. Kids, a trilobite is a giant cootie for a dinosaur. Take a look. Wait, what? Who's calling me? Junior Genius, we solve mysteries. Professor Thomas speaking. Wait, who? Sean? What happened? A train derailed? What? I don't understand. Slow down. Hold on, I'm on my way. Okay. Wait near the intersection. Yep. Bye. Kids, it looks like there's another mystery. There's a train that mysteriously derails. We gotta go meet this guy named Sean near the 2 bar. Kids, let's go.
Professor Thomas, thanks for coming down here so quick.
Buddy, hey, what's going on with the train? I don't get it. How did it just fall over or what?
The train back there are derailed.
Oh, man.
What is
I hope
this?
everything's... Whoa!
What is that?
It's purple goo!
Purple goo?
It smells like grapes!
What is it? What does it taste like?
Taste? Should I taste it? Yeah, why not?
Taste it! Whoa!
It tastes like a grape Tootsie Roll!
Wait! What's that?
It's Frootsies! Let me get this straight. I think somebody put a grape Tootsie Roll or a Fruitsy in front of the train and that made it derail.
What?
Sean,
Could that have happened?
I'm gonna have to analyze that further back in the Genius Lab. Thanks for meeting me.
Nice to meet you, Professor Thomas.
Take care.
See ya.
Kids, it's episode 25, Frootsies and the Derailed Train Conundrum. Introduction, what the heck is a Frootsy? Frootsy is something that derailed the train. Remember, in Junior Genius, the most important thing that we've learned so far with commas is dealing with the abandoned boxcar. Abandoned boxcar, there's an independent clause and a dependent clause. See? They're separated by a comma or a train hitch. And the gist of that train is the independent clause, the engine. So how do we derail a train engine? We simply throw a Frootsy in front of the train engine. That's going to derail it. And when we derail a train engine, an independent clause gets converted to a dependent clause. All right, remember the most important part of the train is going to be the independent clause. As I mentioned before, it's going to be the train. All right, derailing that train engine, we're going to go ahead and throw a Frootsy right in front of it. Clarification, one word, that's a Frootsy, is going to be thrown in front of the independent clause to make it a dependent clause. Most common Frootsies that you're going to run into: if, as, while, that's a Frootsy as well. Since, when, after, and how are also Frootsies. Wait, we have more: because, until, even, as, and not only are Frootsies. This is not all the Frootsies that you're going to run into, but the majority of the ones that I've run into by taking a look at some old ACT tests. Remember, Frootsy thrown in front of the independent clause will derail it and make it into a dependent clause. Let's go ahead and take a look at some examples. Example number 1, I love to play tennis in the warm part of the year. That's an independent clause. When we throw a Frootsy on the front of that sentence, in this case, the word if I like to play tennis in the warm part of the year. You see, that's a dependent clause. and that would recommend using a comma here, and then we would of course put the independent on the end. Let's go ahead and take a look at example number 2. Sia from Wayzata likes the math section of the ACT. That's an independent clause. If we throw the Fruitsy as on the front of the sentence, as Sia of Wayzata likes math section of the ACT, blah 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 blah, something else happens. All right, Frootsy. Derailing the train engine or independent clause by simply throwing a word on the front. Example number 4, Minnesota will get a ton of snow this year. That's an independent clause. The Frootsy here in this case is the word while. While Minnesota will get a ton of snow this year, blank, that is a dependent clause, derailing it. And finally, the last example here, it's example number 4. The airplane ride to Europe takes about 8 hours, independent clause. If we throw the Frootsy on the front of that, since the airplane ride to Europe takes about 8 hours, that's a dependent clause. Remember, Frootsies, kids, it's one word thrown on the front of an independent clause. It derails the train engine or independent clause and turns it into a dependent clause. Kids, hey, it's time to do some practice. Let's apply the Frootsy technique to some real, actual ACT problems. In the process, we're going to use a very, very, very special secret pen. If you look over here, you see on the end of the pen that you have, there's a black little lid on the back end. Go ahead and twist that off. Kids, whoa! When you open up the back of the secret pen, you're going to see there's a hidden compartment with an actual grape Frootsy on the inside. We're going to do something called 5D learning. We're going to go ahead, see a Frootsy, hear a Frootsy, touch a Frootsy, but now I want you to unwrap that Frootsy and smell it. Grape flavor, can you say? Finally, last but surely not least, we're going to go ahead and learn through tasting and eating an actual Frootsy as we progress into the next part of the lesson, which is to try some real ACT practice problems illustrating the concept of Frootsies. Let's go ahead and get started. Practice problems. Kids, let's go ahead and work on practice problem number 32. One quick note here, problem number 31 is in the same sentence, so let's go ahead and just quickly answer that in. That's a different rule. It's the 10th rule. D is the correct answer here, so we're going to go ahead and get rid of this and plug in answer choice D, began. All right, what I'd like you to do is think about the Frootsies and go ahead and complete problem number 32. I'll be right back with the answer in a moment. Let's go ahead and take a look at the answer for problem number 32. The correct answer here is going to be answer choice F. Let's go ahead and take a look why. First things first, answer choice D is correct for 31, so we're going to go ahead and cross that out and plug in 31 here, began. So what do? We start at the beginning of the sentence, grab an answer choice, and we're going to go ahead and check why the answers are incorrect. Notice that we have the Frootsy on the front here, which is as. So what do? Whenever I see that word, I simply just kind of put my finger over it and then start reading. My sister began telling me about the scorpion in her bed that stung her as she slumbered. Right away, you know, when you read that without the Frootsy, that's an independent clause. When you throw a Frootsy on the front of an independent clause, that becomes dependent. All right. Then, if you look over here in the answer choice that we have starting with I could. When we read all the way from I all the way to floor down over here, you see that's independent. We have a dependent clause and an independent. That's going to give you answer choice F. With that in mind, you could go ahead and take a look at some of the other answer choices. Let's go ahead and take a look. If you answer choice G, it looks like there's no comma in there. So we're going to have to read from the beginning of the sentence all the way to the end. Do we need some kind of a pause in there? As my sister began telling me about the scorpion in her bed that stung her when she slumbered, I could see blah, 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 blah. You could see there's definitely some type of a stop that needs to be in there. All right. Answer choice G makes it a run-on sentence. When you come over here, take a look at answer choice H. H, if we trace in the comma after could, we see that now as we read, because of the Frootsy, this is going to be a dependent clause. So for sure, this is dependent. Now, if you read from here back, you see, feel my legs drop on my head, blah, blah, blah. That's dependent. When we check our answer choices and check for violations in step 4 of the procedural steps, you see that 2 dependent clauses connected by a comma violates the abandoned boxcar. We can go ahead and cross out answer choice H. Answer choice J, it looks like Mr. Chung here, so what do? We could go ahead and cross out the middle. Go ahead and read and see if that works. As my sister began telling me about the scorpion in her bed that stung her as she slumbered, feel my legs, blah, 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 blah. That makes it nonsense. You can cross that one out according to the Mr. Chung rule. Once again, 32, answer choice F. Let's go ahead and take a look at the next problem. Problem number 73 is the next one we'll work on. Let's go ahead and pause the video here. I'll come on back in a moment with the answers and explanations. Problem 73, the correct answer here is answer choice A. Let's go ahead and see why. Whoa! Frootsy on the front here, it's the word if. Remember what I do whenever I'm not sure if it's independent or dependent. If there's one word on the front, I simply just put my finger over the first word, checking for Frootsies. If I do that, let's go ahead and read the next part. Here, it says, you turn it on and never touch it. That is an independent clause. And when you throw a Frootsy on the front here, you're going to see that that changes into a dependent clause. So we go ahead and simply label it. Now, when you see a comma, it and it on the other side, that looks weird. So a lot of kids may think, hey, I don't like that. That's the first one I'm going to cross out. But if it's a dependent clause on the front because of the Frootsy up here, then now we have to have an independent on the back, which is going to be why we have the word it again. It is a hazy pronoun. It's still a noun. It will likely remain fast and reliable. That is an independent clause. That's why that's correct. Let's go ahead and take a look at why the other answer choices are incorrect. If you look at answer choice B, there's no comma, so that means that there would be it right here. If you turn it on and never touch, it will remain. It feels like there's something weird in there. Cross it out. If you go ahead and take a look at answer choice C, there's a comma here. That means that there would be a dependent clause on the front because of the Frootsy, and then now if you read the back here when we plug it in, while it will, that's another Frootsy there. So independent clause here starting with it, when we throw on the Frootsy on the back end, the word while, that makes that dependent. That's what you're going to see there for answer choice C. It's 2 dependent clauses, and you're going to notice that there's a Frootsy on the front of the sentence up here with if, and the word while is a Frootsy as well. Double Frootsies, kids! Get it out of there! Let's go ahead and take a look at answer choice D. D, there's a comma here, so it says if it would turn them above a touch, that's going to be a dependent clause. And then it is going to be between commas, that's Mr. Chung. We could cross it out because it's non-essential. When we do that, we see that on the back end, we have another dependent clause. So if you cross this out in the middle, you would have 2 dependent clauses separated by the comma. Why? Why is it a dependent clause? Because again, you see a Frootsy on the front. D is out, C is out, B is out. A answer 73. Next, on to the next problem. It's practice problem number 26. Let's go ahead and pause the video here. Work on the problem. Come on back and I'll give you the explanations in a moment. Problem 26. If you look over here, we have a Frootsy on the front here. It's the word while. I put my finger over here, read the sentence, just take a look and see that without the Frootsy, it's obviously an independent clause starting with the word most. Most dogs are capable of learning a variety of human words and physical signals. That's an independent clause, but we have a Frootsy on the front, so that's going to make it a dependent clause. If you take a look at answer choice F, F has a Frootsy dependent clause, and then on the answer choice in the back, it says dot, comma. That means there's 2 independent clauses. You can see right away that doesn't work because the Frootsy violates that. Over here, if you look at answer choice G, there's a comma there, so let's read here and label independent or dependent. Training a dog becomes much easier when the owner tries to discern its unique communication signals. That's an independent clause. Independent clause, that is a banded boxcar. Let's put a dot by that one. If you look at H, there's nothing in there. That means we have to read from the beginning of the sentence to the end without taking a breath. While most dogs are capable of learning a variety of human words and physical signals, training a dog becomes much easier when the owner tries to discern its Kids, I'm running out of breath. Answer choice H. There's no breathing allowed. Get that out of there. H. It's too long. You need something to break it up. And answer choice J also is even longer. There's an extra word in the middle. Frootsy, frootsy, frootsy. G is the correct answer. Kids. On to the next. Kids, and finally, it's the last problem for today in the Frootsies workout. It's practice problem number 31. Let's go ahead, work on this one. We're going to pause the video. I'll give you the answers and explanations as soon as you're done. So go ahead, turn the video back on when you're done. Pause now. Frootsies, frootsies, frootsies. Kids, let's go ahead and get the answer for problem number 31. First things first, you see that we have a fruitsy on the front here. It's the word while again. What do? I put my finger over here, read the sentence. So the history of the piñata is somewhat murky. That's an independent clause. You throw a fruitsy on the front there. That makes that dependent. All right. Then we look over here, answer choice A. There's a period. You know that in order to use a period correctly, you've got two independents that are going to be one on each side of the period. A is incorrect. B, on the same note, is a dot, comma. Dot, comma, two independent clauses connected that are related. Cross that out because there is a dependent clause on the front because of our fruitsy. Then answer choice C, there's nothing in there. That means that we have to read from the beginning, starting at while, all the way down here to Europe without taking a break. Let's go ahead and try it. While the history of the piñata is somewhat murky, most scholars believe that the piñata originated in China and later became popular. Can't do it. It's too long. That's called a run-on sentence. Kids, answer choice C is incorrect. That leaves us with the correct answer of D. Why is it? If you look over here, we have our dependent clause because of the fruitsy up here, and there is a comma after murky. Now we read starting with most. See if that is an independent clause. Most scholars believe that the piñata originated in China and later became popular in Europe. Independent. Boom. Abandoned boxcar. Kids, fruitsies.
Single light.
Would you get down here? The train's derailing.